In a New York Times article called The Go Nowhere Generation, Todd Buchholz and Victoria Buchholz accuse our generation of apathy and slacktivism, meaning people are more prone to post about a problem on Facebook or Twitter rather than doing something about it. In the article, they allude that we are afraid to move out on our own upon graduation, and that we would take a job close to home instead of taking a job we really want because it may be in another state or another part of the country. So we went around LVC's campus interviewing students and professors to get their thoughts and opinions. Has there been any kind of trend in recent years, in your experience with people of my age group, of any kind of less or more attention to their work or anything like that?
Well, I can say something. Well, I can say something about students. Perhaps in the last 5, 7 years or so, I think that maybe the students are more concerned about essentially jobs. It seems like there's a little more tension, but that could be partly a reflection of a generation, but it could be partly a reflection of where our society is at now, because there's in some sense been a lot of trauma that's going on. When you think of 9/11, you think of financial crisis. A lot of people are sort of stressed now, and they're a little anxious, maybe even including myself.
It's been said that our generation is lately sort of rather apathetic and not doing anything that tangible to work toward doing anything to improve our own world. What is your take on that?
I think I would tend to disagree. When you look at the number of community service organizations that exist today as compared to, say, the early 20th century, it seems like there's been an incredible flourishing of community service organizations, and I think that results in large part out of the concern that people have today. A correlation perhaps might be found in the decline of church participation, and a lot of young people, I think, today see their spirituality as expressed through service. So I don't necessarily see that there would be a huge shift. Maybe there is some small percentage of increase or decrease one way or another, but I wouldn't see it as big significant given those numbers.
Do you think our generation is more apathetic than other generations?
We certainly care about being successful and improving the world around us. I mean, but it's hard to gauge because I wasn't around in earlier generations, so I'm not sure if it was sort of like the people that are sort of unmotivated now and apathetic, will they grow up to be hardworking and disciplined? Who knows?
It's been said that when we do think of something that we want to change about our world, our generation is really prone to slacktivism, or sort of just talking about issues, sharing it on Facebook, but not actually doing something about it. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I think so. It's hip, it's cool to talk about activism and that kind of thing, and then nobody actually you might wear a bracelet or a rainbow bumper sticker or something, but it's just it's almost like an attention getter.
In this article, the writers mentioned that some students and people coming of age are afraid to go out on their own. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that they're right in some sense, and they're not right in part of it. I'd say it's a 50-50 split. I think a lot of the reason why people stay at home when they graduate or stay close to home is it's a safety net. Like they still have that nest at home. And for LVC students, I think it holds true even more so because if you go here, you realize that it's not so much a big commuter school, but it's a school where a lot of people live within an hour, so they go home frequently. I think part of that's part of being coddled. Our parents' generation pretty much held on to us, I guess you could say. And with LVC, having to live on campus for 4 years, if you weren't one of the few that they were allowed off, then I think when you first get into the real world, if you were living on your own by yourself, I think you'd be very overwhelmed with bills and just being on your own.
Are there those in our generation who are prone to inaction and indifference? Yes. But to claim it is the entire generation ignores significant accomplishments we have made. Consider the Occupy movements, which began on Wall Street and have since spread around the country and around the world. Consider the Arab Spring revolts, made possible by the Internet and social networking. And consider a successful case of Internet activism. SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act, was sailing through the legislature. The online community rallied hard in opposition and managed to put the brakes on. Our generation may be unsure of its future, but we are more than capable of shaping it as we go.